Do you want to adopt the agenda?
Yes, we need a motion to adopt the agenda. We don't have any things that need to be removed beforehand.
I believe you're all
We
set.
just solved
Okay.
that.
So, may I have a motion?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's a unanimous.
Unanimous.
The first, second is consent. Does
I have to recuse.
which use from which one? Oh, Val.
Number
all of it.
4.
Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent 1 through 6 with Val recusing from number 4?
What do you think, Johnny? What do you think about the hoop barn? I don't even know what that is. A hoop barn.
It's the
The plastic.
Yeah, who's got a hoop farm?
Nancy Severance, number
Oh.
6.
Charlie is her son, and he's put it in.
I had gone
22
over that with
Bedford.
Ray. Yeah, it's in the back of the house.
Oh,
And he has some other
stuff
gardening.
that, yeah, there's a whole bunch of
type
stuff around.
And he was actually even painting part of it gray, I believe. So,
What is it? What's the material on top? Is that plastic?
it was like a canvas or
It can be either canvas or plastic.
yeah.
At least the one that Bruce has had.
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
has both kinds. Would you want to see it?
No. What about the 64B Walsh? What's that?
He
It's minor.
yeah, he was approved for TDLs.
Yeah.
And he's switching to the SDLs. He was 64 Walsh's outside the Old Historic, and he'd come in for a permit and couldn't get the energy code with the TDL's light. So
Not true divided light on 64 Walsh.
right.
How close is he to the end of the old historic?
Believe it or not, it's actually a pretty good distance outside.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Johnny, do you have
Just a
anything
quarter.
to
half a mile up.
comment on 64 Wall Street switching from TDLs to SDLs?
64 watts.
John Lamke.
Yeah. That's just down the end of Wall Street. Yeah, way down the end. No, I have no comment.
All right.
Okay, I'm
So
okay
may I
with it
have
too.
a vote?
Yeah, I vote to pass the consent.
Alrighty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
And John's abstaining. 1 absent. All right, so we start with the town of Nantucket, C Street. How are you? Oh. Yeah, that's very interesting. The
Hi.
Historic Structures Advisory Board on the 19th. Is that after our last meeting with?
That was before, so they have not had a. They were emailed the packet and everything to go over and comment at this meeting with any
Alright.
concerns they were
They
going to
had the historic paint color. Wood trim is being stripped rehabilitated. Historic doors should be able to be determined. Sheet HR-09, note 109. PVC roofing inappropriate, standing seam metals roof preferred, note 18 typo. What is treatment? Note 19, half-round windows should be rehabilitated, not filled. Proposed flood wall too massive and inappropriate. Changes in historic properties or other design solutions are being explored. Sheet HR-07, proposed flood wall does not extend to south side of the building. Why? And HR 10 is note 126. replicate historic fixtures on north elevation, 117 west elevation. Half-round windows should be rehabilitated and filled from inside, and south elevation visible glass block not appropriate. Those are, I think we discussed some of these before.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so, where would you like to?
Well, some of the changes that we have made, why don't I summarize those, and the ones that we didn't, we can go through the reasons for those that we interpreted as we agreed upon in our last meeting. So the changes we have, and I'll take the renovation first before we go over the hardscape. The changes we have made is the west window above the side door, which is the half-moon window,
Right,
which was originally shown bricked up.
right,
We're basically renovating that window now and placing brick behind it. So that's on the west side above the door.
yeah,
Not the attic, louver. That's to remain. That's the very top on the attic. So you're marking your sheet there.
So what's
I have a
about-
question though,
So-
because what you're saying and what's drawn on the plans that we have are from November 2016, are saying it's filled in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you actually have the most
This
current
package
plans.
was emailed to John on the 20th.
All right, so we don't have the right plans, I guess.
And that basically outlines our responses to each of your comments. The window I'm talking about is on the west side above one of the existing doorways
right.
to the
Yeah,
station.
That's your half-round.
Right. And that is shown, that's the half round. And what we're doing there is we're reconstituting that window versus breaking it up and just leaving it brick. Brick will be behind it, but what the public will see from the facade on the exterior will be a reconstituted, renovated window.
All right,
Okay?
that's that window.
Right.
The bigger ones have to be louvers for,
Correct, for
Right.
heating and ventilation
Right.
requirements. And there's no other way of getting around that.
no, I remember that, talking about that.
Yeah, it's a code issue, and it would affect the integrity of the existing brick structure, which is unreinforced.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So the next,
The next piece is, why don't we talk about the roof? The roof is an existing right now PVC rubber membrane style roof, and what we're proposing is to replace that with a new material that is similar.
It says asphalt shingles.
Well, that's the gabled ends. Those will remain as asphalt shingles. If you look at that Federalist style
Oh,
roof
up
on
at
the
the
profile,
top.
it's the very top piece.
Yeah.
So we don't see that?
You don't
No.
really see that
No.
at all.
Gotcha.
because they were asking, saying whatever it was that you proposed was not appropriate.
Yeah, but we
But
talked about.
that's what's already
yeah,
there, so
Right.
Right.
it's going to be replaced with something close to the rubber membrane.
It is. It is a PVC membrane style roof. I think people get caught up with the word PVC because they think of just a plastic material, but it's just what that membrane is made up of. It's a hybrid material that's similar to what's there right now.
Okay. And the next,
Okay, you want to talk about the glass blocks? I think we talked about that in the rear of the station. They're on the wet well side of the south side of the station,
right,
located in the wet well portion of the station. Now, that will be completely screened by the 10-foot face that basically encompasses the rear of the station, so it won't be seen by the public. The back end of that station is bordered by the Yacht Club tennis courts that also has a privacy screen of a fence of the same height.
Right, we saw a picture of
Right.
that in your original
Right.
proposal.
And it's used somewhere else on the island.
Correct. It's used at the electrical, I believe, substation,
Right.
the old electrical building.
What color is that? It's going to be in black?
The privacy screen will be in black to match the existing yacht clubs,
Okay.
and that'll be maintained by the sewer department.
The new sewer. The new sewer.
That's right. Yep.
And it's going to be, your fence is going to be constructed the way it shows on your 200 series
Correct.
with that post in the middle with.
Yes.
And
And for any gating, yes.
what color is the fence itself?
It's a black chain link fence.
Okay, it's black also, right?
Yep.
So that'll make those posts disappear a little bit.
Yeah, that was the intent.
I wonder why the yacht club picked black instead of white, you would have thought.
Or green, usually.
Or
it's-
green. All right, so your next one.
So that I believe that takes care of the, in terms of the paint colors, I'll go over that. The paint colors, we've decided, based on investigation of the trim, will be white to match the balustrades. That's the original paint color underneath the cream trim right now, with the only other color being cottage red to be the front door, as well as that architectural wooden fan that hangs above the front door in cottage red as well. The rest is white.
All right.
Okay.
And did we discuss the windows, the filling in of the half rounds and
Yes,
stuff?
yes. So the half
Yeah.
round will be brick backed, but the exterior, noticeable to the public, will look like a regular window. That's on the west side.
Right.
Yep.
And in their question about the south side, the reason we're not having a flood wall on the south side is.
There's an elevated slab.
Right.
Yes, so that
Right.
kind of takes care of any potential flooding issues associated with the wall on that side.
Okay, so that answers that question as to why. And the glass bricks, I think, are acceptable. They're in the electric company over.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it, actually.
Yeah,
Because
I
of
do
the
too.
Industrial.
I
feel.
mean, the building is what it's supposed to be. Okay, and anything else then?
I-
They mentioned the flood wall, but I think that, I like that, how you're doing it, because it blends in with what's already there. You know, they're making this bottom row
Yeah, no,
thicker.
I agree.
I don't see why that's offensive.
And the brick will match the style
Right.
of the existing brick, as well as the mortar itself, so,
I don't have any problems with
so
Yeah.
it'll blend in nicely.
So the brick and the mortar are going to match existing? right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the-
I think that was it,
I
right?
think that's about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
now the
landscaping?
hardscape, right, the hardscape. So there were several questions on the hardscape. One included the driveways,
Yes.
which are existing gravel.
Yes.
We walked around the neighborhood in that area, and C Street Inn, the property across the street, they're all gravel driveways. In addition, when you face the front of the property, the C Street Inn on the right side almost shares a partial driveway with that C Street pump station area. And to put one of the comments was going with a full granite block type driveway or an apron. I think it would look different as it relates to what's surrounding the area as what's existing. So we've left it gravel.
Okay.
There was a comment also on the landscaping on the sides of the building. We looked at that as well, and based on the width of the two driveways on both the west side and the east side, they're 12-foot wide, and they have to accommodate some pretty wide trucks. There wouldn't be enough room to put landscaping on the sides, but what we've done is in the front, we've included bayberry bushes. If you look at the hardscape sheet, as well as we've added an additional cherry tree on the northwest corner, opposite the existing cherry tree on the northeast corner,
Okay, that sounds good.
to make that symmetrical.
Yes.
And that was all discussed with the tree warden, and he was on board with those landscaping features.
Can I
You
make a
chatted with Dale?
comment on
Yes.
that,
Okay.
Diane? Could I make a comment on that?
Oh, certainly, yes,
Yep.
yes.
So my feeling about that was that the gravel driveway itself will come right up to that east wall. And will there be any other kind of material between the gravel and the?
Between the flood control wall, there is a strip that can be a small grass strip. It's not like driveway right to wall, but
So the
not in.
12 feet is there's like 2 feet or 3 feet?
I would estimate it's probably about 18 inches
Okay.
on the west side.
On the west side?
Yes.
On the east side?
On the east
Where
side,
it
there's
shares with the other?
where it's that drive will be on the back side of the bike shop.
Right.
Okay. There is more room on that side.
Yeah, if there was a chance to soften that, especially on that side, where I
Mhm.
think a lot of people.
Okay.
I would appreciate that.
All
Just
right.
to make a difference between the.
On the west side, it's possible that we can actually put some, like, continue the bayberry shrubs around the corner.
Okay, that would be very
Okay.
nice, because I think that it's just looking so good. I think that just a few greeneries around would really,
We can do that on the east side.
okay.
Two.
Okay.
Two meaning also.
So continue that whole hedge line just right around the corner,
That'd be very nice, yes. thank
because there's no doorway there.
you.
Okay,
Right.
we've got a doorway on this side, and this side, and there's just not enough room between that driveway edge and the new flood wall to support landscaping.
Thank you, I'd appreciate that.
Sure, we'll make that change.
Anybody, you have something you'd like
No,
to
I
say?
think he's addressed all the concerns that I heard.
Right. Johnny?
I had a comment on your west elevation.
Yes,
Number 105 was a removable stop log flood barrier.
right.
Oh, is that, now I'm looking at this, I'm looking at
So at the doorways,
right,
where the flood control wall encompasses around the west side, the front of the building, and then the east side, at the doorways, there's a break in the flood wall.
right.
And there are grooves associated that are hidden within that flood wall piece to be able to put stop logs, almost like gates that slide in during a flood. But those gates will be stored within the facility when there's not a storm. So they won't be, they're removable, in other words.
Right. My question was, is a stop log barrier, is it made out of wood, goes in pieces, sections?
It's not made out of wood. It is made in sections. It's made out of steel.
Right.
And again, they're only there, say it was a hurricane or something that were to happen where we would look at a storm surge, they'd be installed the evening before and then removed subsequent to the storm event.
And
And that would be done by wastewater staff.
you had a question, 001 is north elevation, but it's not listed in description here. There's no, it's on drawing number HR 09.
It's hard to see.
I got an 01, but I don't see a 001.
Yeah, 01.
Oh, one.
01, isn't that the doors are going to be,
It's the front doors.
right,
I can't read this copy, actually.
We're going to get bigger copies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what happened.
These aren't the construction.
no, they're not.
Is that the same door? Is it proposed to look different? It's hard to tell. Is that what you mean, John?
The front door is the same exact door, it's just being refurbished. And it'll be painted cottage red.
right, that
Um,
is what they,
I'm
Right.
going back to on a further question.
Mm-hmm.
why would you have a stop log door?
In the front
back?
door?
No, in the back, but not in the front,
We do have it in the front. So you have the skirt wall
right?
that comes up and is interrupted by the front door. There is provisions for stop logs to be slid right in front of the front door. Okay?
All right, I'm talking about whatever's there, the side lights as well as the door.
Yeah, the side lights are existing, and those will be refurbished. So those on,
If your stop log is to stop high tides or something,
yes,
or anything,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you have the same situation here?
we do.
Well, it doesn't mention it. That's what I'm saying, it's not in here. It's
Um,
not described as a stop log.
if you look at,
On the north, John, there is a little 105
I believe it is covered. I just can't make out this copy.
on each side of the door.
Stop log flood barrier.
Yes,
I'm using
and that's
the
it. Yeah,
operation.
105.
Yeah,
How- how would
105
stop water. Water
Says
can go
remove-
anywhere.
says removable stop log flood barrier.
Right. And that's also on the front door.
Right.
If you should have had the variation showing the difference between what's there now.
If you look at, right now, there is no protection whatsoever.
Right.
These drawings are specific for the HTC presentation, but the design drawings actually reflect the new flood control wall and the stop logs.
I just wish it had more description, how you put them in, where they lock, and how they stop water.
Yeah, they really just stack on top of one another, and they have gaskets between them. And
Well, there's no description of it.
understood.
It should have been in there.
All right.
All right, that's my question, thank you.
Alrighty, and now can I get a motion
Yes, I'd like
To-
to make a motion to
approved?
approve, yes.
Alrighty, all those in favor?
I,
Right, then that's unanimous, and that has been done both for the hardscape. Can I have a motion also to approve?
Or is that pea stone that you're using in the gravel? Is that just?
motion.
Yeah, it's existing
The
piece stone.
hardscape, and what is the description?
He just said it all, that it's going to remain as a gravel driveway.
Right,
They're going to put a second cherry tree in at the northwest corner,
Correct?
and they are going to put a strip of bayberry down the sides of the building. They can't get any
Yep.
bigger area because
On the north side and the east side, it won't be on the west side.
they
Strip of bayberries.
need the room to get in.
Right.
you described the description, you mentioned that the south side, which was, would not be visible
Right.
because of the,
The fencing.
Tennis.
The fencing, yeah.
you can see right through them.
Oh,
It is
with,
visible.
well, with the privacy screen that we have
Yeah,
on
there are
there,
two privacy screens.
It's
that you
double
have to go
Right.
through.
privacy.
So-
This is for the building, which you did approve.
I just
Yep.
want knowledge, thank you.
All right, so may I have a motion? I have a motion from Val to approve the hardscaping. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. That's,
thank you very much.
thank you very much. You're,
Sure, that's the whole thing.
here you
South
go.
side,
Here you go. We're gonna have this all back. There we go. The next one is Ned Hurd, which is Bob Newman. Robbie. Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
How you doing?
There you go.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good.
I thought
This
this
is our
was
little building. I
approved.
thought we did this one,
Yeah.
but what was left?
We were very close. There was a request just to take a look at the Lucretia Mott facade, showing and not showing the shutters. And then we needed some clarification on the color choices. So I suggest if we look at sheet number 3,
Sheet number 3. I share with you.
Yes.
if you see sheet number 3, it shows the top view was our original our original scheme with 6/6 windows. Those were changed to 8/8 on the top, 12/12 on the two bottom windows, and then the lower with the clouds on it is a depiction with the shutters removed. So, and I would just like to, I went this morning and actually took a little bit of a survey of the building that's directly across the street. This is directly across the street from the Hurd property. This building is somewhere around 112 feet long
Yeah.
from Fair Street to the back,
Yeah.
and it has 57 shutters from here up to St. Paul's, and one of them has blown off, so there used to be 58. So that's my scoop on this.
And colors?
And the colors, they have changed. The trim, all of the trim, they would like to have Nantucket gray. The doors, Nantucket gray. The sash, white. And the foundation, parged concrete.
Painted?
I'm open for suggestions.
What are the other ones that have a lot showing there? Like the house that's
There-
already there?
Their other two houses, everything is Nantucket
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah.
I think the sash is white, actually. on
No,
the-
no,
on the
I meant
main.
just the foundation.
The foundation. I
I
don't
think-
like white foundations, I think they,
No, this is concrete, natural gray.
right.
So, I think the garage is so close to the ground that it's sort of negligible.
Yeah.
The old house, of course, is rubble. I don't know what Baldex is on the side. But that's
Well, let's see what people
yeah.
think of it. All right. Abby?
Well, I appreciate not having the shutters. I think it makes it simpler, sits lower on the site. And I appreciate the Nantucket gray very much. And I would personally like to see it, even the Munton's Nantucket gray as well. And I think as far as the parging color, I could probably see that. I don't know if you can you parge? Can you put paint in a parging, or do you
You can
paint
apply it over after.
You apply it after.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that some sort of gray as well.
What, Essex green, too dark?
No, I think that
That'd
would
be
Is-
nice.
is the- Yeah, could you, does that relate back to something else though? Like the front doors? I don't know. I don't see where the Essex green is coming from, but it
Well,
would,
we've used it before, so
Yeah,
some
okay.
sort
I'd
of
be
gray. Let's
okay
see
with
what
that.
we can. Which the
Yeah,
Essex?
yes.
What color are the shutters going to be?
Well, depending on if we have shutters or not.
Right now, they
How about Nantucket gray?
No, I know, but I don't mind the shutters. I
if they were
actually-
Nantucket gray, I wouldn't mind the shutters either.
Well, then I'd probably, if the door and the foundation were the green, it would be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Johnny?
Yeah, I only comment, we had a letter from a neighbor, and it questioned the height of the structure compared to the neighborhood. Well, the houses all around this one, 2.5 stories, and this is only 3.5. So
Yeah.
I can't say that it's not compatible with the neighborhood.
And unless that's a new one from the Baldocs, I think that was from 2 meetings ago that we responded, and I think everything was.
I'm just saying, I can't agree with your questioning the height of it compared to the other vehicles, other buildings that it fits in,
Okay.
in my opinion. Thank you.
All right, so we have discussion of, yes, changes have been agreed to by everybody, and that the foundation and the front door would be Essex green, and the rest would be gray,
Nantucket gray.
Nantucket gray.
Nantucket gray. That's what we,
All the trim.
all the trim.
So moved.
So moved. All those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye. That is a full motion.
Okay, and foundation is Essex. Everything else is Nantucket. All right,
Okay.
spectacular. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for working with us.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, the next one is first, let's see. First, 400, shelter 7. How are you today?
I am fine, and you?
Fine,
Great.
here we are. So do you want to tell us what you have?
Yeah, I revised the shed, took the dormer, scaled it down a little bit to drop it off the ridge, and it broke up the large window we had before to two different
Two different windows.
two windows.
Alrighty.
Those colors match something? The colors?
What color is on the application?
Roof, naturally, have wood,
Yep.
trim's cobblestone.
Yeah, that matches the house.
I have motion to approve.
That's, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That is good. Thank you.
Grabby.
The next one is 1 Davis Lane.
Salary triple.
Good afternoon.
Aye.
How are you? Matthew Tomiolo again here, representing Mr. Rankin.
Acropolis design.
Yes. Yes. All right, and what did you,
Yeah, we'll share.
what did you change?
What I did, get some notes here. I included a better locust to start.
Thank you,
Looking
yes.
for. I centered all the doors that were requested on the porches between the columns, so they were not offset.
Right.
I removed a layer of trim detail on all the soffits and all the deck frames because there was a comment about the trim being too beefy. So we dropped that down to a 2-layer. And the porch was set back a foot, which also reduced the amount of porch. I think we were off by 10 feet. And so that was all set. That. And I changed the back roof line. The back roof was a hip roof.
Is that the south?
On the south, the south and the north. And on the west part of it, we made it a gable, and we also lowered it on the roof line, on the wall height. So we kept it a little bit lower, and we've also changed the overall height down from 27 feet to 26'3". So we dropped another 9 inches roughly in height overall.
Would you like to begin?
Thank you for the changes you've made. It's come a long way. I think
I
at
also brought some
first
pictures.
glance, the only real thing that jumps out at me is on the west, the dormer doesn't quite meet the 3 feet indent on each side, but also, John will point it out, I'm sure, the meeting rails. Because what is the wall height there before the dormer?
This
It's
is
already
on-
a full height, right?
It's a
The
full
west?
height, yeah.
So typically you wouldn't put a dormer on that side. If you just ran the band all the way across and eliminated the dormer, you'd still have what you need. It's not an appropriate application for a dormer there.
Right.
Okay.
And that would simplify the building also.
I have a couple pictures too I want to show you.
Okay.
Existing in the neighborhood. That form of that dormer is actually in the house across the street.
But do they have a lower knee wall?
Not much. This was
Yeah,
just-
they do. See, their knee wall is probably 5 or 6 feet, 5.5, and where the top of the window is where the dormer height starts. And you don't need a dormer here. You have a full height wall.
It's actually a foot lower than the main second floor. So it drops down from 8 feet to 7 feet. And the only reason for it, I just to try and scale down that side, I mean, we could bring the gables to the same height, which is similar in some of the pictures that I give you. It's like what's existing in the neighborhood. You know, show there's a kind of there's some symmetry to a lot of the houses that are there. So trying to get some form of massing is why we lowered that, but we could raise that back up to that height, or it's just on the kitchen side. You can't get the door to fit at the 7 feet. Well, it's right up into you really can't structurally build it because you can't put a header over that door because it's up into the roof. So that was one of the reasons for that. But again, if we went up to full height, it would just bring the gables to match on each side, on each end. But again, that's what's similar to is in the neighborhood. There's a lot of that's there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of dormers and there's a lot of large dormers, but perhaps I'm not illustrating it.
Can you bring the roof down to here?
Right, he's saying he can't do that and still fit the door in. Is the door 6'8" door or
Yeah.
8?
Why can't you
Lower the,
Why
lower
can't
all the
you-
windows.
fit the door in if you lower the beam going across there?
No, he's saying he can't.
Well, you have to put a header above the door, which
Right,
is about 10
yeah.
inches, and then that's going to still sit below the roof. So you wouldn't have the height.
So he can run it all the way across at a higher height, bringing this gable up so that it's even with this. Or the other solution is to drop the overall wall height in this section, and then the dormer will be appropriate.
Do the dormer just over the door itself, you're saying?
No, somebody help me out here.
Well, I don't
Try to
think
explain
that-
what I'm trying to
The
say.
thing is that your idea, Val, would simplify the back of this house, which this house in general needs simplifying and modifying and being made smaller. I mean, it's an open land out there. We're building on practically beach. I know there are, I know the area, and I've seen the other houses out there, and they, I mean, but two wrongs don't make a right. I don't want, I think this house is very grand for that area, and I think Val's idea of simplifying at least the back of that roof, you should make every accommodation you can to make this a simpler building.
Well, he's willing to do that and get rid of the dormer, but that means this will bump up again, so our eave lines are all the same.
The middle would be lower. The middle roof would be lower than the
The
two.
3-window roof?
Yes, that middle section is lower currently from the front gable, so if we raise that back up, it would be lower as well.
And that would get rid of the necessity
Yeah,
for this?
because that is not right.
Yes, it would.
Or he has to lower the second floor wall heights, and then the dormer will be appropriate.
I think that's a simpler solution, don't you?
To do what? Which one?
This one.
Make it,
Yeah.
To bring it up to equal.
bring-
and
it
get
up.
rid of the dormer.
Yeah.
What
And-
are the ceiling heights on the first floor? Are they more than 8?
8'6".
8'6".
And I'm sorry, here it says your wall height on the second floor is 8'6". On the
Correct, so
north,
if we went down and that was dropped down to 7, it was a foot lower, so it'd be 7'6".
7'6". Then,
I guess we could put the door, but then how would the dormer,
you wouldn't need the dormer.
Just put everything at 7'6", you're saying?
Yeah.
And just keep that lower?
Yes.
And keep it a straight wall?
Yes,
Okay.
that would
I mean,
work great.
That would work for me, too.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a successful way to do it, to make the building easier in the back, don't you, Abby?
Well, I was wondering about the plate height. Is that a foot? How far is it off the ground?
We're actually,
On the ground?
yeah, we're going to be building an interior shelf to keep this
A
down,
mud
keep
block?
it lower. So we're going to be minimal off-grade.
Johnny, do you have something?
Yes, I have a question. You have 8 6-light windows in the structure.
Excuse me?
8 6-light windows in the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no description on it whether they're fixed or,
The simulated divided light. I mean, true divided light.
no. Did they vent?
Oh, which ones? These ones on the 3 on the west side will be venting. They'll be awning. The ones in the front and the gables will be
They're going to
fixed.
be either fixed
They'll be
or
fixed.
hoppers.
Yes, that's what it.
They're going to tilt in, not out. Right, that's standard for that area. In other words, having it flex this way. They're not.
I don't know of a new window that would open in. Okay, we can make them fixed if that's the case. It's just the kitchen, so it's not a problem. There's windows all around it.
Okay, I just wanted to put something in the minutes.
That's fine.
Thank you. Those are my comments.
And what are the colors, sir? Sorry.
And then the
Dove gray trim, sash dove gray.
the doors would be all the trim and doors would be the same.
I'm sorry, what is dove gray? Is that white?
No,
No,
it's a
it's-
gray. It's just
It's a lighter
that
gray.
Anderson makes in their product. It's light gray. It's very close to the Nantucket gray.
Oh, okay.
It's that similar. It's just
It says it Benjamin Moore. Maybe that's dove
that's
gray.
Dove white. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
No, it's definitely a gray.
Dove
It's a light gray.
Johnny, how's he make out with the decks?
That's fine, it comes out to, it's 42 feet and they're allowed 64, so it's fine.
Okay, cool. I think if you are willing to drop that, what section is it?
The west side.
The west mass to have a 7'6" wall height, eliminate the dormer. I could make a motion to approve.
Does that bring down the whole height of the building, or is it that just a
This
change?
No,
section.
the side would stay the same. It would just modify the look of that.
And
end.
would the middle section, looking from the west, have a peak that we would see, like a little cheek?
From the west.
That middle connector section would then be higher?
No, because this lowering, what we did is keeping the east elevation higher as the high point. Lowering that middle ridge line is in line with the gable on the north and south side on the rear, which is the west section. So they come in at the same height. So that if the higher front end is lower, you're coming across, those come in that one comes in at the same height.
You're throwing me there. Come
See,
here.
if you, yeah.
So if you're lowering this a foot, this,
But this wouldn't change because this is already at that height. It's just this section was what we raised up. So this section is currently that would stay. You would just lose that because we're already lower here.
so the 8'6" is not that section?
The 8'6" is this section.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're just eliminating that and the
Correct.
line is coming across. Okay,
Right.
perfect.
So, Johnny has one more question.
Do you have any plans for air conditioning?
Um,
There's no showing them.
I thought he had those.
Or do you have
Yeah,
a-
they are on. If you look on the first floor, On A1.
First floor?
A1.
That's a separate thing
A1?
anyway, if it's
A1. Yep.
a hardscape application.
Stairs on the
Okay,
basement.
where is it on the drawing? Main drawing?
It is not. No, it's not sure. It's missing on the rail. Where the railing of on the
I'm sorry?
north side. On the north side is where it would be.
North side.
on the rear part of the north side to the right is where it would go. That's where it's showing it to be on the floor plan, but it's just not showing it on here.
So it'd be in front of those stairs?
Correct.
So all we would ask is then you just close it in?
Yeah. Yeah, it says it on the floor plan to be
Pencil
enclosed.
or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you craft a motion? Does anyone else have anything? Do you think the overhangs are okay? It seems like they're kind of big, but I don't have a problem with it. Okay.
Are we ready to make a motion? Do you want to make a motion through staff, or do you want to have?
No,
revisions?
let's do through staff.
Okay,
So I make a motion to approve through staff with the dormer being eliminated on the west
right.
and the eave line to run just straight through.
Do you want the ceilings dropped from 8?
He already
6?
did on this section, he just showed me.
So he doesn't have to do that? That
Right.
won't be on our
No.
sheet, okay.
The E windows to be fixed throughout, and the AC units to be closed in
On the north side?
on the, well, north, wherever they show,
Around the north, yes.
yeah.
Okay. All those who in favor?
Aye.
That's a unanimous vote then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
you.
working with us.
I
We
appreciate
it.
I'm here with Ethan on the next one, but I'll let him talk.
All righty. Now we have Ethan.
Diane and I will share.
Ethan McMorrow.
Hello.
What are we?
Here's the house that was built, the front of the main house,
Thank you.
and crappy pictures from the road. Bigger.
That could be anywhere.
I know, right? No, it's there.
It's right.
Yeah, it's outside. So basically, it's to match the main house, except it's not a gambrel because it's small for guest house.
This is a guest house?
That's the
No,
main
no.
house.
Oh.
That's what you guys was
He
approved
just-
for the main house. That's just so you know what
What
you're gonna be
compared
looking at.
with.
It's gonna be stuck off to the side.
Das ist gut.
Yeah.
I think it's cute.
I know. I just built one for myself.
It goes with that.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think the
Very
massing's
appropriate.
great. I personally like the front door with the glass. I don't know if that will be an issue for anyone else.
It's a guest house and
Yeah.
it's facing in, right?
This is what faces the road, the north.
Is it a true facing? How far away are we from Tiffins?
You're quite far,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be veg.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be.
There's gonna be a lot of plantings in front of it to hide all this whole compound.
Yeah. Johnny, have you got
Did you see that? Oh, you got that.
something that you would like to say?
Yeah, on the, which is the front door, the north or south elevation?
It's the north. It's the one with the million panes of light.
North elevation.
Yeah.
And the shop fence, is that for air conditioner?
Yeah. That's the 48-inch high or whatever height you guys want them to be.
Well, it's whatever covers it.
Oh, it'll
Yeah.
cover it, yeah.
I just noticed something though. How come you do have two different, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, for
Aye.
the being creative.
Just a little consistency.
It's just the way the panes, the computer does, you know.
Those are big.
Yeah.
But this is, how many feet is this?
No,
from
I
the road?
know,
It's,
right?
it's,
And
that's,
it's under a porch.
and it's way in the back, you're not gonna, you have to go on, oh, yeah, more than 100 feet.
Yeah, the football field.
You're
Yeah,
okay with it, Johnny?
Yes,
All right. Abby? Up. You too? Yes.
Motion to approve as applied for. All those in favor?
All those in favor, thank you.
Aye.
thank you.
Slow-mo today.
I'm looking at the next one.
Did I send the one coming back?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think I did. Did I send the last application? The last? I missed it.
All right, we have got a thing from Historic Structures about Fayette Street. And let me just write that down and then I'll read it to you. Matthew was there, Jason and Brooke. And they said that the vent, which is I guess what you're looking at, was not appropriate. They wanted to know whether it was an as-built. And this is on 42 Union, really Fayette, 15 Fayette.
I don't see it in, is this the picture?
No, that's the other house next door. The problem is, this is, I mean, if I knew about a vent, we would have come in for vents. This is because we're in the flood zone, the utility room's on the second floor, this is the furnace vent, so it's gonna come out of the side of the house. I don't know what they look like until after they're built. I mean, this, I never had really,
They're terrible looking, look at my house.
yeah, they're huge. And because of, I mean, it's gotta come out of the house somewhere, and we didn't want to come out, so it's in the alley
Ideally,
between
in
the
the
two
back,
houses.
would have been in the back if we had known ahead of time.
And that's the thing, I can't predict these things knowing ahead of time, which I've never had to come before an event before. It, you know,
So
And
it's
see,
on
and-
which wall is it?
it's on
So-
the east wall.
It'd be,
It's in the alley between this house and the house right here. There's a house right on the property line.
it's not
right
on the
there.
front.
Well, if that other house got any closer, you wouldn't have to worry about seeing it.
I think there's a rule also about the distance between venting and neighbors' properties too, venting gas on properties. So, and this is, see, this is 42 Union Street, it has one too, and I'm like, do I have to come in for this as well? See, I mean, when Mark Boyd did these inspections, I never had to deal with this for furnace vents.
Well,
And it can't go under the flood zone, they have to
Oh,
be out of
right.
the roof somehow.
Abby,
well, now we know for
you
the
have to run
future.
this.
Yeah.
I do?
Yes, because this is across the street from me.
Oh, sorry.
I have to
All right.
step back.
All right,
Abby
so-
would take over.
John, what are your comments?
My comment, yeah, what material is it made out of?
Steel, galvanized steel, yeah, it's metal, it's right here, it's a picture of it. Here's a picture of it on the other house.
I was just gonna say, it might be easier to paint it in Nantucket gray, because the shingle's gonna turn gray. You know, it doesn't catch your eye.
Paint it gray,
Being
but
steel, it's
over
fine.
time it's gonna chip and with the heat, it's gonna flake off, won't it? I mean, we can paint it.
That's what I was saying, you know, paint it in Nantucket gray, that way once the shingles, 2 years, change over, instead of shiny to gray, it'll blend in, instead of somebody looking up there and
Yeah,
seeing-
no, I know they're ugly,
Steel,
but,
steel.
yeah.
So it's like an aluminum color?
Yeah, and the thing is, because it's hot, paint's gonna flake off anyways, and so it's gonna have a chipped steel thing on the house, so.
Does it get?
Valerie?
I think it's unfortunate, but it was something that was unforeseen, and now we know, and now he knows, so.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise.
In these situations, they're gonna have to be more careful about where they place it, and we can ask, where is it gonna be?
Do you have any
It's
thought
not
about it?
offensive to me at all. It's like a dryer vent, only up higher and a little bit bigger. but-
Boxy. And I'm going to be doing another house on Francis Street that it's same thing, utility rooms on the second floor, so I have to be aware of what we should do about these vents. It's kind of like, it's a furnace vent, quite large. We can come out of the roof, but you got a silver box on the roof.
Well, it's
Well, that's what.
better than the sign.
Yeah,
as a
no,
next door
agreed,
neighbor,
but
that's what they did
Do you
on
care
my
about the
house.
color
on the-
of
coming out of the roof.
I think if it's
On the
the same
extension.
material, that aluminum, like a dryer vent, eventually that kind of dulls after time with weather. The only other thing I could think of is, can you plant something, put lattice around it, and it will eventually
That's
be disguised, but I'm okay with it.
okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Well, he
Let
has,
me give you a suggestion. Go look at the town building. There used to be the laundry over near, like, every one of those windows. Your heating system and air conditioners are under the window.
Mhm.
But they got all the lattice.
Yeah,
Make
I mean-
a small piece of lattice around that, just so it blends in.
I could, but it's going to be because of the distance that you have to have clearances. You're going to have a big lattice box sticking on the side of the house. I understand the town building. Those are those.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just said suggestion.
Yeah, I thought about.
Next time do
Personally, I wouldn't put them there myself.
I
Find out
personally,
if it's an as-built.
it is.
oh,
Yeah,
As
It
built.
paid the fine.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, personally, I feel that although I don't want to see it, I feel that doing trellis work would draw more attention to it, and as well as painting it, I think. So it's an as-built, and so you will have to pay the fine.
And also on this house, because it's got the same situation, they did plant trees in front of it. So eventually, once the trees grow up, but I believe this one was approved during the inspection. I didn't catch it.
Trees, 15 years later, they might read it.
Well, yeah,
So,
Yeah, took it.
wait, sorry, what are you saying? Are you saying that,
I think
this
what
was on the plan that was approved?
No, it wasn't on the plan. This house was 42. It was not a problem, but 11 Fayette was the problem.
Right, but,
And this one's extremely visible.
okay, but
Paint
that's
Solve it.
the,
Paint both of them. Solve it.
All right.
okay, well, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve with the as-built fee paid.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the next one is Richard Nix.
You got a pen?
Well, I stole it.
This, they want to see it after the resubmit, so this will be the resubmit, right? Okay. See what's up.
So they haven't?
They have not seen the resubmit because this is the first resubmit, right?
Well, we got it in, I believe the Nantucket people met the day that I brought it in. But I brought it in after the meeting, so, and that was a couple weeks ago, so I'm thinking that they had met.
This
But
was written
I'm
on
not sure.
12/6.
Right.
And, well, we'll look and see what, and then we'll see whether we cover the thing. The thing that they brought up was that the east elevation was 31 foot 2.5 inches. All elevations exceed the 25 max for Nantucket. And the west elevation is 2710, south elevation is 2710. And they want to, they would like to
It's the
review it
same,
after the
just no
resubmit
space.
to check it out. And that was
Right.
Bob Olson, Tom Erickson, and Lee Swift.
So they asked if they could see it again?
Yes, they did, would like to review after resubmit.
And,
Okay.
When I brought it in, you and I discussed that, because I brought it in like the day that they met.
Right.
Like an hour after they finished their meeting.
Right.
And then you said that,
So
So
I
it's- so it was
emailed
aware.
the submissions all to them and invited the Nantucket Advisory Board. They wanted to come to this meeting to voice.
Okay.
Your other option is, I mean, if you wanted to wait for them to sit down.
Well, I think their major problem was the height, and we seem to have dropped down, Bill,
yes,
right?
yes.
2410.
The maximum height is 40,
22.
That's their main concern. Oh, I'm not.
All right.
Where is the road?
On,
I can never tell.
This is the road here. Driveway comes in.
Okay, so the west is highly visible. Which is that?
Those are the only comments that we had.
yeah, their main concern was the height.
Okay.
And so we reduced the pitch of the roof, took a bit out of the floor-to-floor height, and got it down to the 2410.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Do you want to begin, Val?
Sure. I think the first thing is that the main mass is lower than these sundry little pieces on the side, which are just higher. Well, look, so you have this main mass, and then what's to the right of it is all higher.
Is that west elevation you're on?
Oh, you have a... No, it's the same.
Okay, it's just... Can you say that again, Val?
Okay, so the main mass on this house, on the
Yes.
west.
Yes.
The larger piece.
Yes. Is that the same as yours? Yes.
Is got a lower eave line than the additive massing on the side. Sorry, didn't say eave line.
Yeah, you
And
did-
that just seems a little off, just, but maybe it
Are you
doesn't
talking
bother
about right
anybody
here?
else.
Where it meets
Yeah,
this?
so
So do you want it to stop at the, there?
no. If it's not bothering you guys, it's just atypical for the other section of the house, even though it's a lower mass, to have higher eave lines than the main mass. Am I wrong?
I was trying to accomplish getting the,
No, I
head,
know.
the headroom in the,
It
because of
doesn't,
the,
it doesn't bother me too much right now.
Okay. And
Well,
then the
what
only
about-
other thing is the blank wall.
oh,
That's,
yeah,
I
that's where
guess,
the,
under
that's
a
where the,
porch?
well, that's where the stairs are, and it's under a porch.
What about you, Abby?
Well, now that Val has said that.
I'm sorry, that's just what...
Well, I didn't see it before, but I
Thanks,
especially...
Val.
I especially think it does look, the roof lines do look odd on the far right, where it's very much lower than the other. But I suppose that
Bill?
can't come
Yes.
up.
The middle connector piece with, between the two gables, could that eave line drop down like the far right, and you put a dormer to get
I could do that,
that
yes.
door?
Yep.
Then it would seem a little more
Sure.
Right.
streamlined.
Thank you.
What about you, Johnny?
Yes, you're allowed 52 feet on the decking, and it comes to 38, so that's okay. The other question, why are the 4 window circles here? And what elevation are they in? First floor.
What, on the north elevation?
Oh,
No, doesn't say what elevation. Circle these 4 windows here.
I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Yeah, that was the windows of sight.
You're not in the right location somehow. I
Well,
can see.
I think those were changed from the original application.
This is put on here afterwards. This color was put on here afterwards.
Yeah, from the first time we were here,
Right.
I believe these windows were changed
That's the south elevation.
from the
This
first
is the
submission.
front,
And
right?
you're asking change
It's
not
not
to
like
it.
this. It's
Yes.
just a
I didn't,
This is the front door.
it shows them there, but it doesn't show them on the wall.
Yeah, it's these four here.
All right,
So
look at the wall.
this,
If it was here,
that's all under the porch.
Yes.
you say it's not,
that's
it's
under-
not
Are you
this.
sure?
Oh, wait, no, it's on the,
The fire,
It's on
I
the other
find out where they are.
Seems like,
Is that not the porch that would be-
oh,
Oh,
on
it's because I added
this
the porch.
side, it's just,
I added the porch.
And this,
front.
right?
No, well, that was there. The reason that area was circled is because this didn't have a porch on it.
No.
I added the porch across.
hey, Bill,
Yeah.
on the front, over the front door, is this part of the porch?
Just a section. But this roof line comes across and then this deck is inside of it.
Independent of that, so there's no,
Yeah, well, on this side of it.
Which would be the,
no, I just wondered if, there was gonna be like, it was cut into the
porch roof.
porch, or is this an,
This is the porch roof over here. This is the back, that's on the opposite side of the house.
So you've seen it on the front
You can
page.
take a look at the next.
more?
Where is
This-
it?
Oh,
this-
okay.
That's this porch over here.
Okay,
And this one is this one.
so it's just freestanding there off the edge.
All right,
Okay.
what I would like to say is I wondered if the front door was a little grand for Starbuck Road, because most of the houses on Starbuck Road aren't quite so fancy. I wondered if it would be good without the side lights.
The only thing I would say about that is,
Extra
is that then it just seems like it's increasing this
Did you make
sparse.
that worse?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to mitigate, was the blank space, because that's where the stairs are, and I could do a little window, but then it would be, you know, sort of a weird placement in the stairway.
And that's inside the porch, right?
Yes,
Right,
Right here, right here.
right.
I don't know.
With trim around it, I just wondered if
Yeah.
the four windows, the windows, three windows on either side seem more like in-town type.
Yeah,
Door.
I
we
agree
could
with
do a door and a window. I could scoot the door over and put a window side of it.
And what about just putting a nice sized trim around the door
Or I could make
With-
the trim larger, sure.
and,
maybe a transom.
and get rid of the side windows?
Mhm.
I just think it's
Yeah, it looks a little stuck on somehow.
too big, heavy for the house, I think. Do you?
I agree with you, Diane, and I also on the west elevation, the main massing there, I think the largest gable coming forward is too overly fenestrated. And I think if you lost at least that middle window on the second floor, is that possible? It quiets it down. Yeah.
Or
if
do
it's
3 and
possible.
3?
Or do 3 and 3 lined up. None of the windows line up in this house.
Yeah, that's a result of what's going on the inside.
Right.
Um,
But we're just looking at the
Yeah,
outside.
no, I get that.
I would go with 3-3.
3 or 2 over 4. Also, the color of this building is white. I'd like to see that changed to gray so that it's not
Oh,
so
okay.
prominent. The chimney is parched.
Yes.
We
All
could-
right.
3, what about, do you think 2 over 4 windows?
I think that would be, to maintain what's going on in the interior, the 2 or 4 would be better for
I
me.
think the 2 over 4.
Would that be
Okay.
good?
And what do you think about my idea of him lowering this eave line and then
Yes.
bumping it up
Yeah.
with a
Can we add
dormer?
that?
Yeah.
Okay. And change the front door or leave it?
Change the
the
front
front
door and
door.
put it with trim around it and maybe
A transom
Transom?
on the
a
top.
transom on the top and that. I think would make it fit in a little better.
All right.
It would look well.
All right, and I have one other question. If he makes this 2 up here, can he
Yes.
like scooch him in a little bit, redistribute?
Yeah, but
Well,
just don't.
right now, they're
mold them.
centered above the openings.
Not quite. No?
Well, yeah, something has to be centered.
Okay, I consider them over the.
Yeah, particularly if
they
he
were,
gets
but- All right.
rid of the one in the middle, it will be center them or center
You
them
center
in
them in
between.
between the 4 below.
So, can we do it through staff?
Yeah, I can do that through
Okay.
staff.
You want me to craft it?
Yep.
Yes.
Motion to approve through staff with a window on the west elevation, the second floor middle window going away, and some redistribution of the window pattern. The middle mass to drop down even with its counterpart on the right, and a dormer popped in there for the door. And then the first floor main front door to eliminate the side lights, but put some extra trim around the door to give it some presence. And I think that was it, right?
The color was white,
Oh,
and that to be changed to like a
A gray.
Nantucket gray.
Nantucket Gray.
okay. Did we get that? Was that clear, Terry?
Get back to you in a moment.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve through staff with the west elevation. Is all of this on the west elevation?
Yeah.
Okay, with the west elevation. Second floor middle window eliminated and remaining windows aligned. Middle mass to be even with the right mass with dormer for the door. Right. The dormer for the door, and the first floor front door eliminate, side lights eliminated, and add to and beef up the trim. And color trim to be Nantucket, and trim color to be Nantucket gray.
I just have one more addition, as I'm going to
Okay.
ask Bill. By lowering that middle piece, do you need a dormer on the back as well for those windows? Okay, so to add the dormer on the east and the west.
Oh, maybe that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Madam Chair, if you want to designate a door color, where are you going to?
Do you want a door color, or do you want it to be the gray that the trim will be?
Gosh, I'm going to have to ask. But can we come back to that one?
I mean, you can,
Agree to it gray and you can change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to me being the boss
Smack.
now. Damn. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
aye, that is, and that is through staff.
Yeah.
Right? All righty, so the next one is the garage.
Yeah.
And it says, height reduction, okay, however, when and if main house height is reduced to 25, then this height needs to be reduced also.
Yes, and I did that. So the garage roof pitches were changed from the 12 over 12 to, I think, 9 over 12 to match the main house, which then subsequently lowered the height of the garage as well.
So what did that come down to now? 22.2.
22 to, yes, and it was at around 25 before.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it fits and gets all the stuff
We
that
just
you
need to take the note off that says white everywhere.
Oh, well, if we're going to change it to gray,
Yeah.
yes.
These dormers have been lowered too. They're not lowered on the east elevation. They're this and this,
Oh, right.
but that might be left over. just on the north elevation.
Okay, thank you.
Draw on the top.
Abby's just saying the sides and the gable ends just need to correspond on
Right.
height.
Right.
Right, but
You have
that's
to pick-
just a
You're
drawing
going to do
thing.
the west or the
East on both. So these would just go up. So they match.
yeah, I think that's a better looking roof.
Yeah, otherwise you're almost walking right through that window.
All right, can we get are you all set, Johnny?
Yeah, the deck is under these, allowed 24 feet, they get 18.
Okay, so that's all right. Can we put together a motion then to approve? Oh, what?
Motion to approve with the dormers corrected on the north and south elevation to correspond with the gable ends. Color to match the main house.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote. Thank you. All right, the next one is Pippin's Way again. That's getting.
Remember, this one's really nice. Where's this in this one?
But this was, you had
That's-
asked for some changes to it? Next, oh, we had, on the north elevation, we had double columns, and you had asked to put them into single.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was
And then
kinda-
also reduce the size of the trim and to beef up the front door, oddly enough, to add side lights to it.
Side lights and up above?
Yes, side lights and the transom above it. So all the dormers have been, the trim on the dormers have been reduced. And I think basically those were the comments.
I think for the front door, it's fine as long as the transom is like one transom as opposed to divided into three.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Did we ask for the transom?
Yes.
We
Yeah,
did?
you had asked for side lights and the transom over to make it
Oh,
more
I
of a,
think-
oh, and we also took the corner boards off and made them cottage corners on the entire house.
It's nice.
When I said windows all around, if it was my comment, I meant in the window of like a shingle style. You have glass around, like it's, Ray called it a lace window or
Oh,
something.
lace window, you mean in the
Right.
window in
Yeah,
the
I
door
didn't
itself?
mean a transom on top.
Oh,
I think it looks over the top now.
Let's,
okay.
Don't you?
yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't make myself.
And you've got the windows, the panes going all the way down. You want that rather than stopping three down at the end of the windows, or so two of the bottom ones would be.
You can let me
Panels.
know which one you would prefer.
Yeah, I prefer the panels too.
Panel,
Yeah.
the solid
Yeah,
panel on the
to
bottom?
go
Sure.
with the door.
To correspond with the middle panel,
Yeah.
so that,
Okay, so eliminate the transom and then a solid panel on the bottom.
right.
I
And
also
with the
think-
middle of the door,
Yeah, the same
So,
height as
yeah.
the,
yeah.
Can I continue on, I thought that
Yep.
the two columns, this is greatly improved, but I think they're now a little too large as one.
Okay.
Could they come down, let me just measure what they,
I think they're,
12
what, maybe?
inches.
12 inches? Yeah, 12 inches, yeah, I think, could we bring them down to at least 8 or 9.
Oh.
No, too much?
I think
Too
that'd be
much?
too skinny.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Would
think
you-
visually
do
it
you-
wouldn't.
well, first of all, do you agree that they seem too
I
wide?
think they actually are nicely proportioned with what's happening here, but that's just me. Yeah, sorry, yeah. And does anybody want the railing to be shingled in between, or is that okay like that?
I like it. I don't mind it that way.
Just
Just
looking
look
at it,
a little lighter.
Down 3 inches. They'd be like,
Ask,
What would you
Look,
like to
can
do,
we-
Abby?
I think that the columns in the front porch are a little too heavy. They're 12 inches. I'm suggesting bringing them down to 9. But that's my opinion, so.
What's the width of the one the furthest to the left on the north elevation? How wide is that?
Oh,
that's a 6.
That's too narrow.
that is a 6, yeah. That's a 6 and a generous 6.
What about,
Oh, it's a 7.
Yeah, I think basically it'd be like a 7 1/4. It's 5, 6 by 6 wrapped.
what happens? You have to reduce the base of the columns also, right? Bringing them in, if you went down to 9, how, is 10 a workable number?
Can we do 10?
Yeah,
10 is more typical.
yeah, 10, thank you.
Yeah, I would suggest a 10.
And then you could keep the bases.
Right. And if any other problem, we'd take the transom out. We'll reduce the columns to 10.
And do I have on there round columns?
I don't think so.
Yes,
Yes, we'd like to make those square,
Yeah, I
if
think
that's
so.
possible.
okay.
Square columns.
Square column,
How
To
about
10
John?
inch.
yes.
And the transom removed. And anything else that we wanted? You all set, Johnny?
No, I had a comment. This is the first structure going in there of all the structures that go in that subdivision. And the gable ends, the 3 gable ends, and they have cross pattern and those are the beams. And the band board, they should be eliminated. It's gotten a precedent. It's going to overblown itself in there, I think, if you allow it.
I think there's one already approved with that.
Mhm.
Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
They already got one approved in there with the same, I don't know where you were.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Your word on it?
I remember it.
The one at
Okay.
the very, the one way, yeah, I think it was your,
Yeah, yeah, on the left, before the cul-de-sac.
yeah.
I have just one other question to think about. You have the 2 walled windows over the front door.
Would you like some space in between them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking maybe, yeah, And-
Sure, we can do that up there.
I think it would be just a little bit. That's my opinion on that way.
Crazy.
I don't mind these here, but I think they would look better spread out a little bit over the front door, front entrance. That's, anybody else got anything to say? So what would you like to have as a motion? We will reduce the columns to 10 inches,
Square.
square, I wrote
Can you
down
make the
square.
motion, or do one of us? have to
No,
do
you have to
Okay.
make it. I'm
So-
just saying you what was under thought.
Right, so motion to approve through staff, eliminating the transom over the front door on the north,
Wait a minute.
make the side lights 3 lights with solid panels below, and the door to correspond evenly. The columns to be reduced to 10 inches. And the second floor, 2 mulled windows on the main mass to be slightly separated.
Do you have
Slightly, do you mean like 6 inches, Diane?
like 6 inches between trim?
Yeah,
You
will
had
you
your trim?
look
Or
and
at
see
least
how
a
it
foot?
looks,
Oh, yeah, okay.
how it
Right.
sets up? I don't know whether 6 inches or 8 inches would be good. I just think they should be spread out
Separate.
a
Okay.
little bit to make that the main focus as you.
And that's all on the north, Terry.
Okay.
Could I bring up one small thing? What is the trim around the windows? How big is that? I'm getting like
Well, they should be 3.5 inch.
3.5. Does anybody feel that's a little on the thin side? Could that go up to 4 or 4.5? It looks a little thin to me.
Here?
The trim on all the, on
all the
all of these
windows.
Well, that's a very common trim size. I think because the windows are very vertical, maybe that's why they look,
They look a little on the not generous side. Yeah, I mean, if they were,
We do 4.25.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
I'd appreciate that. Does anybody feel that way?
Yeah, he can add a little bit to it.
Yeah, 1.25 inches from 3.
all right, so in addition to the other items, Terry, in my motion would be to add, what am I adding? An inch and a quarter?
1.25 inches.
An inch and a quarter to,
3.5, 4, so 4.75.
Did you say there were 3 now?
Well, 3.5.
3.5, so it would be, yes, 4 3/4.
4.75. Okay.
What's that being added to?
All the trim,
All
around the
trim.
windows.
Okay, all the window
windows,
Will be
doors.
increased to 3.25.
4 1/4.
4.25.
4.75.
Whatever.
Can you put the whatever in the motion?
Yeah, I gotta ask Harry about that.
Whatever.
She got it.
No, I don't.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
That's a unanimous decision.
Oh, is that what it
All
is?
right, so now the next one. Thank you. Is Castle Group for 73 Hinsdale.
What,
Did you
Terry?
have a question?
No, she's talking about this. This is
Oh,
Move along.
thank
move
you.
along.
Did you feel that? 'Cause I hate things that are scrawny looking.
That's fine.
I like strength.
Happy New Year.
What?
Looks a bit pale. You haven't been eating turkey. What's up? Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you,
Start
Chris.
with some
Alrighty.
festivities.
Hello.
So what we're here for today is a place out in the middle of nowhere that nobody can see, but will be concerned, obviously. 73 Hinsdale.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Main Street.
No. That's visible.
very
Hinsdale.
concerned about it.
You should be concerned. It's getting way overbuilt.
I don't even know where Hinsdale is.
Hinsdale is at the end of
You know where the tennis courts are
Macy
for
Lane,
the
paddle tennis.
Oh, I know
paddle
Hinsdale.
tennis?
Paddle tennis. Actually at Paper Road. So we're applying for a change on the stoop. The front stoop used to be a friendships there, and now we've put some air conditioning units at the front because that was the only place that we could put them, and so therefore we took off one set of treads off the side of the friendships there. Applying for the AC units where they're drawn, and we are putting grates on the side window wells. I think they're drawn, and also they're not circled on those plans for some strange reason, but on the third floor you'll note, or you won't note, but I will tell you that there is on the third floor those small windows, but they're not drawn. They're not circled, but they should be.
Okay.
Okay?
All of the window wells? Christopher?
All of the window wells with regards to what?
Is that what you're, I don't know which ones you're applying for.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think on the left-hand side, the window wells were all approved, and they all had windows in the bottom, but the wells were not.
I don't know what the left is. Oh, this
Drawn.
is the left. Okay, so this side.
Yeah.
The west.
Yes, that's correct. My apologies. It doesn't look like they were circled.
I think it's fine. Does anybody think he needs more than
Well,
just the bushes he's got already planted, which will fill in?
Wait,
Where are the AC?
They're on the front of the house.
Yep.
Can't have that.
Well, strange enough, it's the only place that they'll go. So that's why we put it there.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The west elevation is,
The window
okay,
wells
this is what is new?
and the little 4 light.
At the top, on the third floor.
Why do they have to go on the front of the house and
Well-
not on the side?
If you, how do I word this? Where you've just circled, what elevation that is? That the west side?
West.
On the west side is the other alternative as to where they could be positioned. However, you will note, unfortunately, where the house was positioned is it's about 6 feet off the property line. In order to facilitate a air conditioning unit, you have to be another 3 feet off the property line. So the house is positioned too close to the property line for an air conditioning unit.
What about on the other side?
On the other side, if you notice, there's a set of stairs that goes down.
Yeah.
Well, there's nowhere for us to put the units.
How
Behind
about,
the stairs?
No, because there's a...
No, because
it
there's
goes
a
in.
well there.
what about at the front door going back under
that
that
would-
A
So you
window?
wouldn't be able to walk down the stairs.
Okay, but I don't think we've ever okayed
No,
AC
I-
units in the front of a house.
Well,
Tell them they
Do you
can't
really
have
want to
air
be the
conditioning.
first person to try
I
and do
don't want to say that I'll be the first.
Do you want
but,
to sign Pippin's Way?
There are other air conditioning units in front of the houses in that proximity.
that? Personally, we have to find a new place.
I would say I agree with you when we're in town, but if you know this area, there's a mishmash of things, including sites with lots of dead cars and,
Air conditioning units in
Excessive-
front of houses.
right.
Believe me, I would rather have them
Yeah.
elsewhere
No, I know.
because
What if he
it's
put a
not-
fence in front of it?
It's not ideal for me either, but that was the only thing that we could come up with after the situation in hand.
Well, I just because there are other places that have.
But that's why I didn't
don't think that-
reference that. I'm saying if you could come up with a better idea, I would do it.
All right.
However,
Give me a second.
tremendous. I've only had 2 years, so maybe you can figure it out.
What do you think, John?
I'll give it a better idea.
Great.
On the south elevation, you have the stairs going down to the cellar. And you have room under that window right there to put air conditioners right there, and fencing.
That's where I said, but
Where's that?
right.
You can't walk
You
down.
see the plot plan, the 746
Mhm.
stairway?
Yeah.
It's too close to the property line. You said you couldn't even, or is that at the other
No,
side?
no, no,
You
no.
can't
Where
walk
John
down
is
the-
pointing,
Yeah.
what it doesn't show, John, if you look at the east elevation, is that there's a stoop going into the building there, so it would have to be,
East elevation.
I think he's suggesting in front
Wait
of
a
the
minute.
stairs, aren't you, John? Where are
Yeah.
you suggesting, John? Just on that plan there, John, where are you suggesting?
You can go over there,
East
Chris.
elevation, right
Yeah,
here.
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Why
You
couldn't
can't
they go
put-
here?
You can't put them there, John, because you can't get into the stairs now. I've gone through this, believe me.
I couldn't do something.
What about down in the well?
You're 10 feet to the end of the building. Right? And
In the stairs, in the stairwell.
Down in the stairwell.
Yeah, and your air conditioning units scale up to 4 feet. So that would give you enough room to get around that stair post to get down. And you can fence it a little, you can run it a little
Well,
past the
okay,
corner.
okay, let me ask.
finish, please.
Yes,
Let me
so,
finish.
yeah.
You can go up, looking from, on the east elevation, come up the stairs, you need 3 feet to get to the stairs, from the wall. Up here, where the stairs are, coming down, on that one.
North?
You can, there's no roof over it, they could fit there, that's one possibility. The other possibility, where that, you have 2 air conditioners in the back, and
One.
2 in the front,
One.
1 in the back.
One in the back, 2 in the
How
front.
old does this house have to be?
No, 1 in the back and 2 in the front. Different units.
Chris, let me finish.
Yep.
Those 2 air conditioning units.
At the front,
On the west elevation in the back, it says air conditioning unit, plural, not singular. And I'm reading that one of them.
There's 1 air conditioning unit.
Well,
AC
it's,
unit.
he's confused because on the site plan it's showing 2. That's why.
Right, it shows 2, so
There's 1 air
There are
conditioning,
2.
there's 1 air conditioning unit on the rear.
Right, but he's referencing
well,
this.
you
And
got 2 there, that's what I'm saying. You use the word plural, more than 1. The S makes it more than 1 when you use the word
it's
plural.
just, that's what's confusing him.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you're gonna have 1 there or 2?
There's 1 there, John.
1 there, okay, cross that one off.
So the building's got 3 air conditioning units?
Now,
Have you
One
thought
air
of
conditioning
eliminating one of these window wells in the basement and then putting them there instead of having?
I
the
have
window?
thought of eliminating the window wells in the basement. I've thought of actually putting and there will be grates on the top of all the window wells, and I've thought about putting them on the window wells, on the grates. However, the building department don't like that, so this
Well,
is
that you wouldn't be able to get
Why
out.
can't you nix a double window and then put?
because then you won't be able to get out of them.
All of
these
these are
windows
access.
double?
That's correct, yeah. Believe me, I've spent 2 years trying to do it, and they're not hooked up, so it makes no difference to me where you suggest that they go. So they'll go wherever they go. So I can move them so they're not hooked up, they're just sitting there. So I can put them at the top of the stairs, but I'm telling you, I've put them at the top of the stairs and they don't work. Not work with regards to, but they don't fit. And if you wanted me to put a fence around them in order to cover them as well, you are not able to get down the stairs.
Well, the staircase railing should cover them. See it from the south. You won't see the
Yeah.
air conditioning units.
It's not the ideal situation, and like I say, I would much rather put them elsewhere because it's my house. However, the only place, unfortunately, that we're able to put them where it works is there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be putting them there.
Okay, that's their suggestion.
Okay.
You do not want them in front where they're visible from the road without a fencing, all right?
Tremendous.
Then my question is, come back to your plot plan where it says in the rear, air conditioning units. You have 2 windows here, 2 double windows. You can put 1 air conditioner here and 1 back here. Fence them. You do either side. You go on this side here. You can put 1 in here, put 1 back here. Fence them, instead of having them in front. You got plenty of room between these 2 to put 1 here and 1 here.
I think what would help is if you have the as-built to show that they won't fit there, because you're probably too tight back there,
Yeah.
right? This is deceiving.
Okay.
If everybody feels that way, what about right in this corner here? Can you put the 2 here on the side?
Okay. So the unfortunate thing is when it's condominiumized, that land
is that lot, and this lot is this lot.
Maybe there's
So,
too much program here.
In order to put an
I-
air conditioning unit on that person's land for this house,
doesn't necessarily bode well, does it?
No.
Like me putting an air conditioner on your lot for your next door neighbour.
Well,
Oh,
first
it's
of all,
better
we
than
didn't
having-
know that.
You
Not
didn't know
that
what?
that it's
That they're-
condominiumized and.
Well, I'm
that-
just saying eventually it probably
Well,
will be.
also,
It's
you
not-
don't want the AC, I mean, that's not that our problem, but you don't want the AC running all the way for the front of the house to be way in the back.
Ideally, you don't, yeah.
I personally would be okay with it, with a natural to weather board fence on the front, given the neighborhood and the context.
How much space do you have off the road there?
Minimal. It's whatever.
Length of a car, which is usually 20 feet.
Actually, it's about 30 feet, John.
So from the
We have
front
a pickup
door,
truck.
what?
It's about 30 feet.
30 feet?
Yeah, to the street. It's about 30 feet. What's the length of 2 cars?
Can you show me? Where is this house? that you-
It's not on the locust map.
Can you just
Yeah.
draw me?
You had a proper plot plan that would show it.
Well, I think that's what we asked him, if he has an as-built, he could show us where they'd actually fit better.
This is going back here.
And now you're saying this is 30 feet?
It's about 30 feet from the 2 cars. So what's 2 cars? I'm guessing about 30 feet.
16
Where's the
feet a
front
car?
door?
25.
Right here.
He wants to put them underneath those 2 windows.
I would go with fencing and shrubbery that is winter.
Right, there's no,
Yeah.
it's his responsibility to keep it
It's your
growing.
house, you're going to want it to be as nice as possible,
Well, that's the
right?
reason why. I mean,
Okay.
like I say, if they were going to go, I don't want them to go there, but if I could put them anywhere else, I'd have put them somewhere else. And I own it. The unfortunate thing is that's the only place that
I
they
think
seem
we
to work.
should put in the motion that due to lack of side yard area or what, however we can put it, so when somebody else comes and wants it in the front, and they say, well, it was done here, then we can say, well, he had no side.
Do you really have other ones in the neighborhood where it's in the front?
Strange enough, yeah.
Then they weren't approved.
But I don't want to use that as a reason. The only reason why they're there is because they've got nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I actually even thought about lifting them off the ground. Then I wouldn't necessarily have to deal, and I thought I might not have to deal with the setback issue, but you still do have to deal with the
You
setback.
can't set them down in
No.
It's the other
like a light
comment.
well?
No, I've
Scaled
done
up
that loads
from
of times. I
the lot
understand.
line to
Do you know what I could do for you? I tell you what, I could do that in the front.
Do what?
That's
I
what I'm
could
talking about,
set
these
them in
two.
the front down.
Set them down
I
into
could
the-
dig a well in the front, a window well in the front,
2.
and take it down. Well, what
Or
I'm
the
saying is I
side
could
by
do a window well. I wouldn't necessarily, I'd be not willing, but what it would behoove us to only go down maybe 2 feet, because then the air conditioning units would work and not burn out. That's an idea. I don't mind doing that.
So down how
Couple of
much?
feet.
A couple of feet.
Yeah.
And fencing around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, bushes around.
landscaping.
Yeah, sure.
that
I can
is
do that. We can do that.
evergreen, you know,
Yeah.
there in the winter.
Yeah.
And leave the fencing natural to weather.
Yeah.
Chris, what comment did you give me? How far back from the road did you say it was?
I think it's about 30 feet to the house.
Try 25, because that's what the scale says.
Yeah,
My
I think
apologies.
It's not to
20
scale.
25 feet. It should be.
That drawing of the
You
site,
say 1 inch is 20 feet.
25 feet.
Yeah.
15 feet. It's about
You
two,
say it's 2 cars. 2
About
cars. That's it's about 20 to 20.
But that's an idea. We can do that. We can put
Sink them.
We can sink them 2 feet. I like
Okay,
that
I've
idea.
got that 2 feet down fencing around natural to weather and year-round planting.
Yes.
craft the motion now.
Somebody like
Okay.
to make that motion?
Well, Terry, did you get that?
Hang on.
Okay.
Turkey dinners are nice.
They are nice, aren't they?
Weekly,
Okay,
weekly.
so I have a motion to approve staff with the AC sunken 2 feet, surrounded by natural to weather board fence and evergreen planting screen.
Exactly.
Terrific. There you go.
Due to
Great thoughts.
context.
Yes.
Mastermind. Great idea. Hiding them. I like the idea of dropping them 2 feet.
More stuff.
Thanks for giving us the problem.
More
All right.
stuffing on the plate.
All those in favor?
That's with
Aye.
more stuff.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Who
Much
did them?
appreciated.
Thomas Nolan at 15 Sconset Ave.
Thank you.
But you should go out there, 'cause it's.
You're going to send away.
No, I know, but I don't want to make it worse. Like, what if people are trying to live there and get better, like pull up their bootstraps? She's pulling them up. Keep going.
Oh, it's in front of the house?
No, it's on the side of the house. It's a strange, you have to look at this thing upside down, basically.
Is there a picture of how it is in the house?
I had put some pictures. It's all surrounded by hedge to start with, but basically,
Oh, I don't have my thing
This-
today.
this is the house. This is the house.
Yeah, I got
And
that.
the front door is kind of here, I think. It's one of the Wisconsin keys. And this is where they want to put the shed, which is side yard.
Am I on the wrong house?
No, they're not. If you're looking at it from the road, you have to turn everything upside down.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
So you want to just sit back and say east is west and north is south.
Sankety, Sankety Ave.
The ocean's over here.
Okay, the ocean, it says west though.
It's very, well, it is, you're right. I should have opened that up. Wisconsin Ave is over here, John. Sankety Road is here.
And then you take
So the
a-
ocean is here.
Yeah, okay, and then you
And-
go down here, and then you take the, so it's right on the corner there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It's actually a yard that is totally enclosed in hedges, and I think I had pictures there of those hedges. I mean, yes, you can peer through sort of, but basically it's very well privatized.
So it's going to go to the rear?
Goes to the
No.
rear. Yeah, it's to the rear on the side.
You can see it, it's,
It's really their only yard space, because that other area is a parking area. Well, there is grass there.
It's in here, I think.
it's right here.
Yeah.
And where is the front door? Is
The front door is here.
The front door is
Off
here.
Wisconsin Ave, after it turns the bend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that looks right.
Yeah. If there's a hedge there.
Yeah, it
it's
looks like there's a
surrounded.
hedge
Oh,
all
it's,
around.
oh, okay.
All right,
Yeah.
do we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Motion to approve, all those in favor?
What's the address of this?
15 Sconset
15
Ave,
Wisconsin.
Wait a minute,
right there, the one in yellow,
I get you, yeah,
and
Okay.
it's in the corner over there.
yeah, I get it.
All righty. All those in favor, I think?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. All right,
Thank you all, and happy
thank
New
you,
Year.
thank you, same to you.
Thank you.
Now we have Brewster Road. I don't see him here.
Chip was here.
He left, yeah, he told me he had to go. So
What about, and 26 Washington Street
he was gonna hold off as well.
until Tuesday?
No,
Cook's here,
next
isn't
old
it?
business.
And what about David Wilsey?
He's in
Wait, let me
Montreal.
go, Diane, let me go check and see if somebody's in the hall. Is it with?
I don't think they're gonna be here.
So, what are those?
I mean, we went out and took another view of Joe's house there.
Which one?
The one on the water tower property. Joe Topham.
Oh,
It's
Yeah, he's not
technically
here.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, he's
33
not
News, Wisconsin.
Oh, there's a, there were a lot of letters about that.
Yep,
here. So, yeah, I would refrain from
we won't
any
discuss.
comments, yeah.
what do we do? Put it on to next old business or
Yeah, or
Tuesday?
just hold for representation, yeah.
All right, hold for
I'll make a
representation.
move to hold for representation.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that for 13, 14, and 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
What happened to number 13? I didn't miss it, I didn't hear it.
He left.
Okay, what are you gonna do with it? Oh, just
We're
hold it?
holding it.
Yeah.
We're holding 13, 14, and 15 until it'll come up on
further
Tuesday.
notice.
So we have to approve minutes on December 8th and 13th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nobody's opposed, whatever.
Hold until the 13th?
We are approving minutes for the 8th and the 13th. And we have a vote on that. And then we are, discussion of selectmen memo regarding professional staffing at HTC meeting.
That was my request. Can we postpone it to next week?
Yep.
And get a full board?
And we won't have a full board.
Yeah, it'll have to be 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I had to post the agenda
Yeah,
today
okay,
because
yeah.
the town clerk's supposed to move.
So that's it.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Chimneys. Over 4,000 chimneys on this island, closer to 6. Only one chimney on this island is, usually you can have the chimney come down and cobble at one side or both sides. There's only one triple cobbled chimney on the island. I want you to go find it. Right in the public view, you drive right by it.
There's one out in
See?
Sconset.
What is this for?
What, it's only cobbled on one side? I thought you said.
No, this just got three, one,
It's
two,
from
got three cobbles.
2015.
On one side.
Oh. Guess it's not very good.
Amazing.
That's pretty good.
Where is it?
Didn't say, you gotta go find it.
Oh,
Never know
okay.
where it is.
It's like a
treasure
scavenger
hunt.
hunt.
Huh?
Treasure hunt. Treasure hunt.
So 1, 2, 3 cobbles, yeah. I'm gonna start putting those in paper like they used to put in. Yeah.
What is this from Rick Atkinson?
That is the memo
Terry?
from the Board of Selectmen under other
There's the
business.
3 cobbles, 1, 2, 3 steps.
It seems like it's outdated, though.
What is it in
can't remember
reference
where,
to?
but
Is
I
there
think
a
it's soon.
specific thing that happened?
Professional staffing at HDC meetings.
This
Is
is
that you?
when
I think it's old.
it's old.
Well, it was brought up by one of the commissioners, so.
But this is when we were not
To discuss.
having anybody particularly who knew about stuff when everything was going around, and the conduct and the decorum so that we didn't get people yelling at other people. I think that's past now and not necessary to bring up, I hope.
Well, I think John wanted to talk about it, so it's held for 2 weeks.
We're going to hold this about decorum.
Could I just say that I'm going to miss the next 2 meetings?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we discussed this then.
Yeah.
It's old though, Johnny. It's
I don't think
2 years old now.
that's okay.
But we'll discuss it.
You get to it eventually,
You're going to be gone where? Do we
Motion
just-
to
do we give-
adjourn?
Do we give you permission to go somewhere?
I don't know if I have permission.
I'm going to Hawaii, I want you to.
Thank you.
When?
The 3rd of March.
Nice.
daughter is taking her to Hawaii.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh, you were
Motion to adjourn.
Motion